just read articles about public speaking, how to stand, pauses for effect, and all the little tips of how to deliver the message you want to deliver.
Learn how to speak confidently. Doesn't mean you have to be Winston Churchill or anything like that, or whatever. But I think that's super important. It doesn't matter what job you have. And even I was talking to Mason. I talked to Mason a lot. I said, even with the advent of the internet and stuff like that, you still have to be personable. Mm-hmm. I mean, like all the social media stuff, you just can't. I mean, I guess you can hide it a little bit. Some people will just get by on looks alone, but at the end of the day, they're not going to survive very long. You still have to have a personality. You have to be someone someone wants to follow. Just nothing's changed. It's just how it's presented, and it gives more people an opportunity to shine, so to speak.
Right. Well, you have to know how to communicate to people from different backgrounds, and you actually indirectly helped me to be able to realize and do that, because we would go on these seminars. This fun guy, he can sit next to anybody on a plane, right? And then get off the plane, and he knows their whole fucking life story. And he's like telling this to me as we're going, yeah, she's got these 5 grandkids, and there's this one that's doing this. And all I'm thinking is like, how the fuck you know that? Like, the person I sat next to, I didn't say a word. Yeah. Just head down, just through there. But you learn, man, over a period of time. You got to be able to communicate with people of all different backgrounds and levels. And kids are another beast, man, because their brain's not right. Mm-hmm. Fuck, my kids are like 19 and 21. Their brains still don't work right.
Yeah, you could have the greatest message in the world, but if you can't communicate it, it's useless.
Yep. I think that's like an overstatement to so many people, because they don't get there's a lot of nuance in there, and they all think that they do it effectively.
Yeah, no, it's like I've said, I don't know if I've said it on here before. It's like, I've never asked a strength coach, hey, have you written a bad program? No. This program's going to work. It's like very rarely will you sit there and be like, wow, that kind of sucked. Oops. Point being, if you're a coach, you probably think you're a good communicator because you're a coach. It's like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you have a certain degree of leverage that's a hack, but that it's not true.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying I'm a coach and I work with athletes, so communication is important.
Yeah.
Well, how much time do you put into studying it? Like, I'll go every now and then. I need to do it more, but like, just read articles about public speaking, how to stand, pauses for effect, and all the little tips of how to deliver the message you want to deliver. And then that's kind of the easy part. The hard part is, like, when I write the workouts on the board, I know exactly what it is. I know what it should look like, but then trying to explain that on a level to someone, and I'm going to put it this way, to someone that doesn't care. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they don't care as much as I do. And they don't know as much as I do about it. How can I get it across to them to get the result I'm looking for so that they can understand it and then execute it?
Well, I like that you're saying that you should study it, you should look into it, but then you need to apply it too. Because the past year with this podcast, I've been studying the shit out of all this, and certain things like that I found, like, you really don't want to ask the question why, because it kind of puts people on a defensive.
Right.
So don't use that. Reframe it like how. How did that come about? And because think about it, anytime I ask somebody asks you why, you're like, okay, wait a minute, am I being quizzed here? Am I being judged? Simple little things like that. Now, when I would read that, I'd be like, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. Take a note, write it down. Do the next podcast, and I'm like 5 times like, so why exactly did motherfucker,
Putting it into practice is
it's
very,
tough,
very hard.
Man.
Yeah,
it takes
hard.
reps, just like anything else.
And I don't know, this is just my opinion. I think sometimes when you get into what we're doing with the coaching, is the X's and O's are kind of more fun.
Oh, fuck yeah, it's more fun, plus you know it.
Yeah. Right? And it's more fun, but that's hard work. That's just more fun. That's like, for me, that's like history class. I loved history. Did not like math. So the art of learning how to communicate better to me is like math class. Right. I don't like, it's not as enjoyable for me to learn about, but it's probably what I need to learn about.
It's probably
the most.
It's more important.
Yeah,
the X's and O's.
Yeah, and I was smart enough in high school and I'm sure somebody told me I didn't like math and science. So when I started my homework, I did math and science first when I wasn't tired and my brain was still fresh. And I saved the stuff I was good at, social studies, history, English, for the end of my homework because I was good at that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like with the communication, that's probably what I need to spend more time. I'm at the high school level. Do I need to know about the stretch reflex and, you know,
I just had
all these these kids don't need that. They're 14, 18 years old. They don't need anything complicated. They need very basic, simple stuff. I need to communicate it better.
I just had a very one of those aha moments. Like, it's got to be really hard for you guys to coach kids, you know, in the fact that because we're probably sitting at a table of 4 people. There's probably not many more people who love lifting more than we do. Like, we just really, you know, seriously. I mean, one of our probably favorite things to do is train.
Yeah. Well,
Still at the ability level that we can do it, and sometimes you're working with kids who just don't get it all, and you're like, this is amazing. Like, this is the greatest to have this ability to do this. Like, you don't see this, and we really are in the minority.
Yeah.
We really, really are in the minority. I mean, I know you're working with athletes and they need it and they want it, but just from a Gen Pop standpoint, like, people don't love to like. Well, if I don't train, I'm pretty miserable.
Yeah.
If I like, it's
a lot of our kids look at it like it's punishment.
Right. And I'm
It's
like,
like, oh, I have to do this. No, you don't. Well, my coach said I had to sign up for class.
So they have to.
Well, you don't, but you don't have to. You don't have to. No
the
one.
kids have to is a little different when
But
someone's telling them.
Yeah, but even then, they don't have to because the coaches can't force them to take a class.
Right. But if they don't do it, maybe they don't play, or maybe they'll, you know, they're.
Well, our coaches won't sit anybody that doesn't. Yeah. If they're good, they're going to play, kind of thing. So there is really no consequence to not. But anyways,
kids aren't always that smart and intuitive.
No,
that.
they're not. They're not.
So,
because I don't want to. I flat out, I don't want to deal with the kids that don't want to be in there.
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't want to be in there. Don't. I don't care what you do. If you're in there, you need to follow directions and all that stuff. But I had that chat with a couple kids. Well,